bystander, they had ventured into one of the rooms on the upper floor. Subsequently, Ashley ascended the stairs in pursuit, meticulously exploring each room. Her endeavors did not go unnoticed, as some individuals admonished her for interrupting their merriment. Just as she was on the brink of yielding, Ashley discerned Isabella's voice emanating from one of the rooms. The tone of Isabella's utterances conveyed excitement, prompting Ashley to smile and shake her head. She resolved to locate a room where she could rest until Isabella completed her endeavors. The growing bond between Ashley and her sister was palpable, and Ashley was determined to prevent any reversion to their previous state of enmity. After all, they were sisters. However, the sound of a masculine voice etched its way into Ashley's consciousness, startling her to the core. Slowly, she pivoted and cautiously approached the room from whence the voices were coming. Fortuitously, the door stood slightly ajar. As Ashley gingerly pushed it open, a wave of blankness washed over her. In that moment, she regretted ever having opened the door. Ashley felt her world turning black at what she saw after opening the door. She felt hurt, betrayed, miserable. She knew Isabella hated her for everything that happened in her life. But for once, she believed and trusted that they could start all over as sisters. Not to mention James. 5 good years in a relationship, and this is what she got. She could have guessed about anything Isabella could do to her, but not to have sex with her boyfriend on her damn birthday. Ashley slowly closed the door. Tears stung her eyes. Was this Isabella's intention of throwing a party for her? Was this all her plans after all? She felt like a fool to have believed her. She wiped her tears and started walking from the place. Furthermore, she felt disgusted just standing there, watching the erotic scene before her eyes. But unfortunately, she stumbled and fell down. Her drowsiness was still there, though not as much as before. She was about to stand up when she heard James' voice. "I love you, Ezer." Ashley felt like cold water had been poured on her. She instantly felt cold. "So, you've been lying to me all this while, James," she said with her tears streaming down her cheeks. "I love you, too, James. Now you can leave that stupid Ashley and come to me. I think the boys might have finished their work on her already. I made sure to hide the cameras very well. Tomorrow, James, just tomorrow will be the end of you and Ashley, and a new beginning of you and I love story." Ashley was out of words when she heard Isabella's statement. She placed her hand on her chest to calm the burning sensation there. Boys? What boys? And what work were they going to do on her? Ashley felt everything crushing her down. Her brain was running fast as hell with tons of questions. "Sure, baby. I will be all yours," she heard James' voice again. She wished she could scream at them to stop talking. "Did you add much of the drug to her juice?" she heard Isa ask James. "Sure I did. I took her to the appointed room where the boys will play with her. You know, it's a pity that some random boys are going to take her virginity when I couldn't," she heard James say sarcastically. Ashley couldn't believe her ears. So, this was all their plan. They even intended to let some random boys rape her. What kind of monsters are they? Don't be silly, James. Were you dying to have a taste of her? Isa asked James with annoyance. "Never, baby. You are the only one I want to taste and ravish." Ashley felt nausea in the pit of her stomach. She wanted to vomit from all those disgusting revelations. "Get off me, baby. Let's go and check on her. Don't forget to bring your parents to our house tomorrow. We will play the video for them to enjoy. I can't wait to see my dad's face. Moreover, I told the boys to make it look like Ashley wanted all of them together so that it won't look like she was drugged." Isabella chuckled at her own evilness. Ashley didn't know what to do now. She's hurt, and she's still having some little drowsiness, and her eyes are blurred from tears. She quickly got up from the floor and entered one of the hotel rooms, which was unlocked. She threw herself on the bed and cried out loud. She was in so much pain. How could they do something like that to her? What wrong did she ever do to them? She covered herself with the bed duvet and continued to cry all her emotions out. The Westwood family meeting, the so-called family meeting, really went smoothly this time around because Steve finally agreed not to fight with David over the company anymore. Their grandparents also made sure today would be the last day they called for such a meeting. Steve even apologized to David, but something was definitely off, and David was aware. Steve is not that kind of person who will easily give up just like that. David was sure Steve had something under his sleeve. It wasn't even long enough when David started feeling uncomfortable. His body became hot all of a sudden. The urge to have sex with someone became stronger for him as time went by. David tried to hide his pain from his family, but things were becoming unbearable. He was surprised because he didn't eat anything apart from the water he drank. He then looked inside the glass he drank the water from and then turned to look at Steve. He saw Steve having a devilish smirk on his face. It was then David understood what was happening to him, and moreover, Steve's earlier warning at the entrance came into David's mind. "David, my child, are you okay?" his grandmother asked when she saw how David's eyes had turned red and beads of sweat formed on his forehead. "I'm okay, Grandma. I will just use the restroom. You can leave without me. I will ask Xander to send me home." David tried to maintain his voice. "All right, then. Come home early. You didn't eat anything." "I will ask Nanny to prepare something for you," his grandmother informed him softly. "All right, Grandma." With that, David stood up and rushed to the restroom. He gasped for more air the moment he entered. David felt his throat tighten and his body becoming painful. He cussed Steve under his breath. He loosened his tie to gain more oxygen to his lungs, but unfortunately, nothing was helping. The restroom door burst open, revealing Steve's devilish face with a smirk whilst clapping his hands. "What did I tell you, dear cousin? DWC is and will always be mine, but you didn't listen. Look at you now," Steve said with laughter. "Because of the title of the company, Stephen, you are really going this far to get rid of me. This shows how incompetent and incapable you are, Steve," David said with a struggle because his throat was tightening the more he spoke. Steve got angry and punched him really hard in the stomach. "How dare you call me incompetent and incapable, David?" Stephen said with rage, as if those two words were his taboos. "Guys," he shouted for two macho men to come in. He had already instructed them what they were supposed to do, so they knew where exactly they would take him to. David struggled from the men, but it was all futile. He could have even beaten 5 of their same kind, if not because of his vulnerable state. "Now, say your last prayers, David," Steve said. After the men took David away, they sent him to a room which was dimmed. They immediately closed the door behind him as soon as they shoved him inside. Through his struggling and painful state, David saw someone else in the room aside from him. The person was lying on the bed, and it seemed the person was crying. "Who are you?" he asked sharply. Ashley just lay on the bed in the hotel room, crying her eyes out. The door burst open all of a sudden, making her gasp with fear. She wrapped the bed duvet around herself in a protective way. She may be strong, but what she heard James and Isabella say a while ago scared the hell out of her. Her sobbing became intense with the thick silence in the room between her and the invader. To add to her misery, the room was all dimmed, so she couldn't even see who entered the room. She only saw 2 men shove someone into the room and then leave. The room was all dark except the moonlight that shone from outside through the window. Ashley noticed the man had spotted her, and a shiver ran through her veins. She was intensely scared. Just the thought of Isabella's plan made her whimper. "Who are you?" the man asked her. She couldn't reply out of fear, but something was wrong. That voice, it seemed she had heard it before, but she couldn't remember where. Moreover, the person sounded in pain. "I said, who are you and what are you doing here?" "Did Steve send you here?" the man asked her again angrily yet painfully. "St. Steve, who is Steve? I don't know him. Please don't hurt me," she pleaded while sobbing. The moonlight shone on the girl who was shivering on the bed with fear. David then realized she was the same girl he met at the entrance. Feeling drowsy, he noticed the girl was scared of him. Who wouldn't be? "How is your drowsiness? Feeling better now?" Did the server help you as I instructed her? David asked with much difficulty and pain. He just wanted the girl to know that he wouldn't hurt her so she could loosen up a little bit. Ashley also realized he was the same man who helped her earlier on. If it wasn't for his help, only God knows what might have happened to her. Most of her fear vanished. For some reason, she knew she was safe, but the man didn't sound well. Is he sick? She questioned herself. She got up from the bed and moved towards David. She wanted to ask if he was okay, but David abruptly moved away from her. Don't come near me. I don't want to hurt you, he said sharply as he tried to inhale much air to fill his lungs. Ashley was startled with the sudden change of the calmed man she met at the entrance. Mr. Handsome, I know it's you, though the room is dark. Thanks for your help earlier on, or else, she paused, thinking about what would have happened to her. But Mr. Handsome, are you okay? Ashley asked. Listen, little girl. Someone might come in here and open the door. Make sure to run as fast as possible from this room then, okay? David grabbed her hand suddenly and whispered to her. He knew what was happening to his body and his desire at that very moment. But even though most of his conscience was gone, he would never touch the teenager in front of him. Ashley noticed the man's body was hot. The first thing that came to her mind was maybe the man was having a fever. Okay, but for now, just wait here, she said, and quickly went to the bathroom to look for a towel and a basin. Maybe wiping him with cold water might help him. The man saved her life earlier on, so she also intended to help him. Ashley was in the bathroom when she heard the bedroom door open. She wanted to run like the man told her, but she stopped at the door of the bathroom when she heard someone clap and laugh. Panic surged into her veins. Did the man come for her? Ashley questioned herself. But what she heard from the new man terrified and shocked her. It seemed today she was bound to find out a lot of disgusting things. Steve entered the room where David was, whilst he clapped his hands and laughed. My dear lovely cousin, do you have any idea what's going to happen to you now? He taunted David with his smirk. You? How dare you drug me? David spat furiously and intended to punch Steve, but due to his condition, he fell down instead. Ashley gasped when she heard the sound of something or someone fall. Her instincts immediately told her it was her Mr. Handsome who just fell. Ha ha. Look at you now, cousin. Do you know what's going to happen inside your body? Slowly, your throat is going to tighten more, and your body is going to become extremely painful as it will demand for sex after 30 minutes without having sex. You will die painfully. You only have 14 minutes left, cousin, Steve said and walked out from the room with a triumphant smile on his face. As if that wasn't enough, he opened the door again and informed David, there will be great headlines across the world tomorrow when your corpse is found. The police will have an autopsy on your body. The drug inside your body now will be detected. And then I will hire a lot of girls to witness against you. They will give report that you always rape them after taking such drug. My dear cousin, your time is over now, he said sarcastically and left with laughter. All this while, David was just praying that the girl in the bathroom shouldn't come out because he wouldn't be able to protect her if Steve tried to do anything to her. Luckily, Steve left without seeing the little girl inside the bathroom. Ashley held her chest after hearing all the conversation from the bathroom. She thought James and Isabella were the worst people in the world. But little did she know that more people are worse out there. She came out from the bathroom and saw David sitting on the floor in pain. The room was still dimmed, so Ashley still couldn't see his face properly. I guess you heard everything, little girl. But don't worry. Even if I have to die in pain, I will still not take advantage of you. You have my words, David assured her with much difficulty because of the intense pain he was having. A CEO and a billionaire like him is now feeble and can't help himself. He chuckled sadly at himself. Ashley didn't know what to do or say. She didn't want her benefactor to die. The man saved her, so it's all right if she also helps him, right? After all, what is the point of being faithful? Her boyfriend and her sister have already broken her heart. She took a deep sigh and walked towards David. Mr. Handsome, would you want to have sex with me? "I don't want you to die," she said half-truthfully. In fact, she just wanted to forget about how she had been betrayed. "What?" David asked her in full surprise. Ashley just stared at him. She was not even thinking properly. All that was in her head was to save the man sitting on the floor. "I said, would you want to have sex with me?" She repeated her question, but firmly this time. "No, I don't want to, and don't come too close to me," David said and got up from the floor. His pain and suffering intensified every second. He groaned and grunted in pain. Ashley couldn't bear the sight in front of her. She cursed the person who drugged the man who saved her. She wished she could see David's face, but she couldn't. She started to look for the light switch. Not only that, but she was happy when she finally found the power supply. She cussed inwardly. She turned her attention to the man who was still in so much pain. On an impulsive decision, she took off her dress, leaving only her bra and thong. Ashley moved toward David and touched him, making him flinch. David was busy gasping for oxygen that he didn't notice the girl had removed her clothes until she approached him. "What the heck do you think you are, little girl?" David groaned in pain. He just couldn't take advantage of the girl. He moved to look for her clothes to put them back on her, but Ashley held his hand to stop him. She crushed her lips against David's lips as soon as he turned. David froze. He didn't know how to react. It seemed just a mere kiss from the girl had made his pain subside for a little, but even still, he pushed Ashley away. "Are you crazy?" he shouted at her. "Yes, I'm crazy. I'm crazy to the extent that I'm willing to give myself to a stranger. I can't even see his face in order to save his damn life. I'm crazy to have been betrayed by my sister and my 5-year relationship boyfriend. I'm crazy that I saw them in bed not so long ago, and here I am offering myself to a stranger I don't even have any idea how he looks like," Ashley shouted with tears in her eyes. "But do you know something, Mr. Handsome? If you didn't help me at the entrance earlier, I might have been raped by not only one guy, I don't even know how many they are," she said softly this time whilst crying. She wiped her tears with the back of her hand and approached David again. "Let's stop wasting time, Mr. Handsome. I promise you are not taking advantage of me. I want to do this. You consider it as me also taking advantage of you to forget my painful heart. I think we have only a few minutes left," Ash said softly. "What's your name and how old are you?" David asked, still in pain. There was a long pause before Ashley replied. "I'm Ashley Miller. I'm 18 years of age. I just celebrated my 18th birthday today." David cussed and punched the wall. Ashley flinched, but she still moved slowly to him. She slowly tiptoed and brought her lips to his again. This time David gave in and kissed her back with much hunger and need. The drug in his system was driving him crazy. They continued kissing each other roughly, both trying to let the pain they were feeling go away with whatever desire they were sharing. David picked Ashley's small body up. She crossed her legs around his waist and his neck with her hands. David, though he loosened it over to the drug, still managed to hold on to the little humanity of sanity in him. He held her gently and walked towards the bed before carefully laying her on it. He hovered over her, and in a few seconds, they were both naked on the bed. "You are a virgin?" he asked her after raising his head to look down at her. Ashley slowly nodded her head in yes. "I can't do this," he cussed and was about to pull out from her when Ashley used her legs to hug his waist and pushed him back into her. No matter what he was feeling or his intense desire, David still didn't want to take the virginity of an innocent girl just to save his damn life. "I will be okay as long as you take me a little gently," she whispered and gave him a small smile. She raised her head a little bit to give him a light kiss on his lips. David stared at her for a while, though they couldn't see each other's face properly. But David knew how exactly the girl looked, unlike Ashley, who couldn't see his face, nor was she able to guess how he looked. David started peppering kisses on her face to soothe her. "I will be gentle, I promise." David took her more than 3 times before he felt the drug in his body dissolve. He got up from the bed when he noticed Ashley sleeping. He went to the bathroom and used the moonlight to take a shower first. He brought a basin with water and a towel he found in the bathroom and wiped Ashley clean after he was done bathing. His heart hurt, and he felt guilty when he saw the spots of blood on the bed. He cussed Steve inwardly. He swore to make him pay for what he did. Though David was the one who had sex with the girl, none of that would have happened if Steve didn't drug him. He returned the basin to the bathroom after he was done cleaning her and dug into the bed. He pulled the sleeping Ashley onto his chest. Ashley snuggled more into him. In their embrace, they really looked like a real couple in bed. David kissed her forehead and whispered good night to her. He just had to wait to. "I believe you," he tensed when he heard the girl's voice. He looked down and noticed she was actually still asleep. A small smile plastered on his face, looking at the girl in his embrace before he drifted to sleep. Isabella and James happily went to the room Ashley was supposed to be in. "I can't wait to see her reaction tomorrow, love," Isabella said happily to James, who just smiled back at her. He pushed her roughly against the wall and started kissing her so hard as if they didn't just sleep together a while ago. "You are being naughty, James," Isabella said playfully and hit James' chest after they pulled back from their hot kiss. "Isn't that what makes you love me more, baby? Now, let's go and check on that girl," he winked at her before they walked towards the room. They happily opened the door with smiles on their faces. Their smiles died as soon as they saw how the bed was untouched, and Ashley was also not in the room. They turned to face each other with surprise. "What happened? What's the meaning of this, James?" Isabella asked James, who was also surprised like her. "James, did you perhaps let her go?" Isabella asked James angrily. James told her he had left her on the bed knocked out. "Call the boys and ask them what happened." "And where the hell are they?" James said, frustrated. Isabella immediately obeyed and called the boys as James asked her to do. "Hello," came a voice on the other end. "What happened here? Why is the bed untouched?" "What the heck happened?" she snapped at the person on the phone. "Hey, chill, woman. The boys and I went to the room number you gave us, but we found no one there. We waited and waited, but nobody entered, so we just returned to our basement." "What?" Isabella asked in shock. She tried to compose herself before she continued. "Fine, since you didn't do your job as you were supposed to do, give me back my money," Isabella snapped. She was really going crazy. All her plans had failed. She wasted money to throw a stupid party for Ashley. And now everything was wasted. "In your dreams, woman. We came to the place as we agreed on. It's not our fault that we couldn't get to her. Now that our deal is done, don't you call me again." With that being said, the person hung up. "Hello. Hello. Hello," Isabella screamed and started crushing everything in the hotel room. "Ashley, just wait and see," she said with intense hatred before she left the room, not even caring whether James was following her or not. Ashley woke up early the next day with her whole body aching from the intense intimacy between her and the man last night. She looked beside her and saw the man she slept with last night, but his face was buried in the pillow, so she still couldn't see his face. Ashley got up from the bed gingerly and went to the bathroom. She quickly took a shower and came out. She noticed the man still sleeping in bed. Ashley heaved a sigh of relief and looked around. She didn't want the man to see her. After all, it was just a one-night stand. She spotted a booklet and a pen on the bedstand. Ashley checked her phone, and she was glad everything was recorded. Yesterday, when the man entered the room, she quickly turned her phone on record. She thought it was the guys Isabella and James sent after her. Ashley wanted some evidence to prove her innocence in front of her father if the unexpected happened. But things turned out way differently from what she thought. Ashley hurriedly edited the recording. She deleted all her conversation with David and left only the voice of the man who drugged him, the evil man. Ashley assumed his name was Steve. She also deleted all her pictures and everything on her memory card and removed it from her phone. She tore a paper from the booklet and wrote, "This memory card contains only the voice of the person who drugged you yesterday. Sorry for recording it, but I thought you were one of those who were after me yesterday, so I turned my phone on record when you entered the room. But don't worry, I have deleted all my applications on the memory card. Also, I've edited the recording and deleted our voices from it. This is the last thing I can do for you. You can use it against him or throw it away. But please don't ever look for me and don't blame yourself, because I'm not holding you accountable for what happened between us yesterday. Thanks for helping me yesterday. I really appreciate it. Ashley prayed that the door should be unlocked, and thank her lucky star, the door was actually unlocked. She turned and looked back at the man on the bed again. Tears formed in her eyes for an unknown reason. She never thought she would give her first time to a total stranger. She wiped away her tears and left. David woke up a while later. The first thing he checked was the girl beside him yesterday. He got up abruptly when he found no one beside him. Ashley, he called out, but there was no response. Panic surged through him, thinking that maybe Steve had come for her when he was asleep. He was about to go to the bathroom to check when he noticed a note and a memory card on the bedstand. He immediately took the note and read it. Fuck, he cussed after reading it. This was not how he wanted things to be. He wanted to wake up next to the girl and get to know her more. Now she was gone. His heart tightened at the thought of never seeing her again. After what happened between them last night, he didn't want to be irresponsible. He wanted to be responsible for his actions towards Ashley. But now what? He went to the bathroom and took a shower. He returned back to the room and wore the same clothes from yesterday. He noticed the door was unlocked, but he didn't want to go out. It's now time to teach Steve a great lesson. He sat down comfortably on the bed, waiting for Steve to come for him, but his heart was still heavy, thinking about the girl. About 30 minutes later, David heard a lot of noise from outside. He smirked when he knew they were all reporters. The door opened, and his grandparents, with Steve and his parents, came in with some reporters. David's parents came in after a while and went straight to their son. They gave him a big hug, knowing that he's alive. They were on a business trip when they heard about the situation and immediately returned. Steve froze when he noticed David was perfectly alive. Shock was evident on his face. David turned to look at him, and panic surged through Steve's veins. He knew that if David was alive, then he's definitely the one going to die. David, my dear grandson, what drug have you been taking? Where did you even get such a drug in the first place? His grandmother went to him, crying. The reporters were told to take only pictures but no questions. Grandma, I didn't take any drug. See, I'm fine. Nothing is wrong with me, David tried to assure his grandmother. What do you mean by you didn't take any drugs? We got the tips yesterday. How can you shame our family like that? Steve's mother, who didn't notice how pale her son had become at that moment, exclaimed loudly. David didn't answer her, nor even glanced at her. He simply walked towards Steve and raised his hand to punch him really hard. He continued beating him up till blood started flowing from every open corner of Steve's body. No matter how much they tried to stop him, David was too strong for them. He remembered all his pain and sufferings from yesterday. He remembered Ashley, the poor 18-year-old girl who cried when he entered her. How she lost her virginity to a stranger she didn't even know. How she saved his life with her body. Pure and raw anger gushed through David's veins. He finally let go of Steve when his grandparents called him out of his beast. What's wrong, Dave? They asked him. David didn't answer but rather questioned Steve. Where is my phone? He shouted, which surprised everyone, including the reporters who silently took videos of what was going on. Steve was so scared that he immediately fished David's phone from his pocket and handed it back to him. Wait a minute, why is my son's phone with Steve? David's father asked in anger and surprise. David just ignored everyone and inserted the memory card into his phone and played the recording. The reporters immediately turned their cameras to Steve's parents. How did you record this? We made sure your phone was not with you. Don't tell me someone was here with you. Steve's mother unintentionally spilled the beans. A hard slap from David's mother landed on her cheek before she could process anything. She then realized she had spilled the beans. Old Master and Old Madam Westwood were shocked about what their grandchild and his parents did just to have the title of the company. David's father ordered to arrest Steve and his parents on attempted murder. But David rejected such an idea. In fact, he had better plans for them. The family soon sorted the reporters and even asked them to publish whatever they heard or saw. Steve's parents took him to the hospital for a checkup because he was really losing blood. Steve knew very well that it was not the end of it. He knew David would surely make him pay 1,000 times. Everyone left the hotel room one after the other. It was left with David and his friend Xander in the hotel room. David narrated everything to his friend, and he was in awe with the little girl. Xander never thought someone could give her virginity to some stranger just to save his life. It's just like the girl was ready to give her life up to save David. David requested his friend to search for the girl's whereabouts by all means. He only knew her name was Ashley Miller. He also requested him to make sure the footage of the CCTV camera from his room last night would be deleted, which Xander greatly obliged. Ashley, I will definitely find you, David said to himself, determined. Ashley went home right after she left the hotel. She saw her father all worked up in the living room, pacing back and forth with a worried face. She immediately ran to her father and hugged him so tight. What Isabella and James planned to do with her last night really scared her. What if those gangsters really found her in the hotel room and did whatsoever they had planned to do with her? Tears ran down her cheeks. Hey, princess, where have you been all night? Did you know how much you scared this old man here? And why didn't you come home after your party? No, wait. Where did you sleep? Her father coaxed her and patted her hair yet with a lot of questions. Her father felt something hot on his shirt, and that is when he noticed Ashley was crying. Okay, baby. Shoo. It's okay, don't cry, princess. But can you tell me what the problem is? And why didn't you come home last night? Where were you, and where did you sleep? Her father slowly pulled her away from him and asked her whilst he wiped away her tears. Oh, Dad, I saw James cheating on me yesterday, Ashley said through her tears. He did what? Mr. Miller instantly became furious. He wanted to continue, but all of a sudden, they heard a glass shatter on the floor. Ashley and her father turned to see Isabella standing in the kitchen, looking pale. What happened, Isa? Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? Mr. Miller asked his other daughter with concern. I'm okay, Dad. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks for asking, Dad, Isa said, not so sure of herself because of the intense gaze Ashley was giving her. Hey, Ash, sis. I looked for you everywhere yesterday, but I couldn't find you. Where were you, sis? You know, I was really worried, Isabella pretentiously said, which made Ashley's blood boil. Ashley ignored her and faced her father. Dad, I've called Mr. and Mrs. Thomas and told them James and I are over, Ashley told her father, unconcerned about Isabella's presence. You did what? When? How? Princess, you could have talked things out. You can't just break up with him like that. And you know you are going to be engaged to him very soon, Mr. Miller tried to persuade his daughter. No, Dad. I'm glad I never got engaged with him. I don't know what my life would have been if we took our relationship further because James never loved me, Dad. I was the only one who was in love with him, Ashley said with her tears streaming from her eyes. Just then, Mrs. Green came into view. What do you mean you broke up with James, Ashley? What about our business? Your engagement with the Thomas family would have enhanced our business deal. Now, what will happen? Mrs. Green stated angrily. The Thomas family is one of the prominent families in the whole country, though they can never near the richness of the three prestigious families. Ashley and James being together had really helped the Miller company to expand a bit. How could her stepmother let that opportunity go away just like that? Ashley looked at her father as if she was asking him with her eyes what he thought. Her father just gave her a sad smile. Ashley looked at Isabella and had the urge to slap her, but she held it back. That is not what she wanted. Yes, Isabella is a bitch, and she had always been. Ashley just didn't want to waste her time on her because obviously, Mrs. Green would take her daughter's side, and her father would be in a dilemma as always. "Oh, you don't have to worry, Mrs. Green. I think the Thomas family will continue to cooperate with our family business," Ashley said with a smirk. She noticed the uncomfortable state Isabella was in, and she felt glad for that. "You deserve more than that, bitch," Ashley said under her breath. "What do you mean by that, princess?" Mr. Miller asked his daughter with his furrowed brows. "Yes, explain clearly. What do you mean by what you just said, Ash?" Mrs. Green jumped in quickly. Ashley heaved a sigh and said, "Dad, James and Isabella are in love with each other. I heard them confess their love for each other last night, and I think it's better for them to be together. I just don't want to be a third person in their love story." Ashley intentionally censored what she heard yesterday. She wanted Isabella to feel more uncomfortable with the situation. Isabella was shaking when she heard Ashley's statement. Did Ashley see James and her in bed at the hotel room? If she heard James and her professing their love for each other, then did she also hear about their plan? She quickly raised her head to look at Ashley, who was smirking at her. The smirk on Ashley's face said it all. She knew they planned to drug her and have her raped. Isabella thought to herself and gulped hard. The vast room became uncomfortable for Isabella. She was scared of Ashley telling their father about what she and James planned against her yesterday. At that very moment, all of them heard hands clapping with happiness. They turned to Mrs. Green, who was all happy by the news she just heard. Mrs. Green never masked her dislike for Ashley regardless of what. She went to her daughter and hugged her so tight without noticing the uncomfortable state her daughter was in. "You did well, my dear child. Why didn't you tell me about you and James?" Isabella gave her mother a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She hesitantly turned to look at Ashley again. This gold-digger woman doesn't or can't even pretend her thirst for money. Like mother, like daughter, Ashley murmured to herself. She then looked at her father and gave him an assuring smile that she was okay when she noticed the sad face of her father. "I'm okay, Dad. I'm perfectly okay. I just want to go to my room and take a shower," Ashley said to her father before leaving the hall to her room. She knew her father would be sad for her, but she didn't want him to be. Those bastards didn't deserve any of her emotions. She headed straight into her bathroom, and whilst she relaxed in the warm water, it was then that she remembered what happened between her and the stranger. She gave her first time to a total stranger. But what puzzled her was that she was not regretting any of what happened. She didn't feel even a bit of remorse for herself. In fact, and as shameful as it may sound, she enjoyed it. A smile crept on her face while she blushed from ear to ear when she remembered how the stranger took his time in pleasuring her though he was in so much pain. "He smelled so good, so sad I couldn't see his face," Ashley said sadly to herself. She heard her bedroom door burst open, and an angry Isabella came in. Ashley quickly dried herself up and put on her bathrobe before leaving her bathroom to meet the angry guest. "And what do you think you're doing here?" Ashley asked Isabella and crossed her hands on her chest the moment she came face to face with her. Ashley lazily leaned against her bathroom door and used her eyes to urge her to speak. "I said, what the fuck do you think you're doing here?" Ashley asked her again, but with a hint of annoyance. "No, I should be asking you that damn question. Why the fuck did you have to tell Dad about my relationship with James?" Isabella hissed at Ashley. Ashley unfolded her arms and slowly walked to where Isabella was standing. "Slap. How dare you slap me, Ashley?" Isabella asked angrily whilst holding her cheeks. "Another slap. Ashley, if you dare touch me again, I will." A third slap landed on her face. Isabella's eyes became bloodshot, and she dashed to Ashley, but Ashley stopped her in her steps. "Dare you come closer to me, Isabella, and I won't hesitate to tell Dad how you drugged me to be raped, or I should tell him how you and James have been fucking yourselves all this while," Ashley shouted at Isabella, and her face dropped. "So you really heard everything?" Isabella asked, being afraid and embarrassed. "Now get the fuck out of my room," Ashley shouted and pointed at her door, indicating Isabella to leave. "Nonsense," Isabella turned to leave, but she turned back to look at Ashley again. Ashley, Isa called her. What? Ashley shouted at her again. This stupid girl. Is that hickeys on your neck? Isabella questioned, paling Ashley, but she masked it. Oomph, really funny. Do you know how much I suffered from your drug? Do you know how hard it